Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss what is big data, what are the challenges available in big data, what are the different characteristics of big data. Then we will move onwards from there itself towards the what is Hadoop. We'll discuss some bits of Hadoop itself and what are the different statistics according to the 2022 on big data platform. What is the scope and everything we are going to discuss today. Basically, what is big data? Big data basically refers to uh, refers to the voluminous and voluminous and constantly growing data set. Basically, by big data we mean that it is a voluminous and constantly growing data set. Voluminous means huge in volume and it is increasing rapidly. That means the data set generated from a wide range of sources which are not only huge in volume but also they are generating data in a very complex those data are very complex in nature. You can say in a single statement the data generated and transmitted rapidly from different sources. The different sources like social media, e-commerce, financial institutions, healthcare system, then stock market, transport, search engine, and so on. There is a wide range of sources. Data are generating constantly, and those data are mostly unstructured kind of data. This is because it's very difficult to process unstructured data, manage, process, and handle, or we can say in a single statement, it's very difficult to capture, curate, store, share, transfer, and analyze such kind of data. Because these data are not only generating rapidly but also it's very fast. Also, such kind of data are complex in nature because they are containing mostly almost more than 70% data are in the form of unstructured format. So based upon the nature of the data, we can format of the data or volume of the data from there are different characteristics of the big data lies. Of big data. So big data we understand the data that is generating from Facebook, social media, or you can say financial institutions, any banking institutions, or healthcare systems, or any kind of transport, or any kind of search engine, WhatsApp data. All these data are not only generating rapidly; these are mostly unstructured kind of data, and in a huge amount of data. So based on this, there are different characteristics of data is there. First of all, volume. Second is variety. Okay, variety. Third one is velocity. Fourth one is your then variability. Then fifth one is veracity. But these three things are very, very important: volume, variety, velocity. So to understand this, volume basically stands for the huge amount of data. That means the data is not only it is generating in the form of KB. What are the different kinds of measurement which data is there? Means what are the different volumes of data will be there? KB, starting from bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, then gigabyte, then terabyte, then petabyte, then your exabyte, EB, exabyte, then your zettabyte, then yottabyte, then sebibyte, then jobibyte. So, as you know, our traditional method, we can able to accommodate or handle only the structure from our data very well up to some TB. Traditional methodology means all the RTPMS like Oracle database, MySQL, and Sybase, and so on. They are capable enough to handle up to some GB or some to some extent of TB, like Teradata. Data is able to handle up to TB. Your data warehousing tool, Informatica, and all these things, they are able to handle some TB. But beyond TB, how can you manage such kind of data? It's very difficult to manage because you will say that let's select, suppose it's almost 5,000 records will be there or 50,000 records. Our query will be executed very well. But if at all the data volume will be, the resulted query will be more than 50 millions, let's suppose to, then the definitely it will going to takes much time to fetch, or sometimes it's going to uh, disconnect from the database. It is automatically terminated abruptly from the database because the volume of data that is stored in a particular table, if it is more than 50 million or something which is there, then definitely there will be some processing issue will be automatically come in picture. That means the internal algorithm is very simple here. Select star from, we are just getting the data from the employee table by selecting a select star from MP. Whenever there is 15 records, 20 records, 100 records, up to some 1000 records, or up to some lakh records is there, then it's very well working. But whenever the volume of the data is increasing, our database also get hanged. It is very difficult to process those data. Correct? It will take much time, or even it is going to abruptly terminate the processing. Okay, so up to, so what is big data? Big data is the set of data that is generated rapidly. It's huge in amount. Huge mean which are not able to process by the, or which is not able to handle, it is very difficult to handle by our traditional database system. That means the data is generating these days are more than petabyte scale. Petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte. Up to terabyte, it is very well. All the traditional database are well, that means they are capable enough to handle up to some TB. But beyond TB, it's very difficult because it's not able to process such kind of data, even in case of structured data as well. In our case, the data is not only structured, it comes from the different sources that are unstructured kind of data. What is the variety? Variety means the data that are generated having different form. different format. What are the different format? One is structured, unstructured, semi-structured, semi-structured. Correct. The variety represents or refers to different format of data. That is data generating because data is not only generating from the only one sources. The data is generated from the different sources, multiple sources. That might be from the source, Facebook. That the data might be from Twitter's or any kind of streaming environment, Netflix data, or any share market data. All these data are mostly unstructured kind of data, and those data is very difficult to process using our traditional database system. Okay, so this is a challenge. This is the characteristics of big data, that this can having different format. Semi-structure means all the XML kind of data, XML, JSON kind of data. It is a log file and server log file. All these data are comes under the semi-structure kind of data. Audio, video, etc. or image file. All this data comes under the unstructured kind of data. Whereas the data that is we can able to store in the form of row and column. Those data basically known as the structured data. So all our traditional database handle basically the structured kind of data. But whenever the audio, video, image files or XML, JSON, server logs, all this kind of data will come into picture. That means unstructured and semi-structured kind of data will come into picture. Then it's very difficult to manage them or process them. But industry, they have realized that almost all the organizations, they realize that these data, if we'll handle only the structured data, then it's very difficult to predict the future market situation or to understand the customer behavior. So it is very important to handle the unstructured data along with the semi-structured data along with the structured data. Okay, that's why the big data comes in different variety. Okay, then what is velocity? Velocity represents the rate at which data is generated. Then basically data that is generated from different sources, it's rapidly in every second. Some people may do some Twitter activities or any WhatsApp message or any streaming environment. So many people are going to share their in the live YouTube live going all this from different sources you are getting the data. So the data is not only huge, not only different format, but also the data comes in a rapidly. It is enormous way the data is generating into our system. So it is definitely, it's very important for the organization to grow in their business to capture such huge amount of data that it comes in a very fast manner. Okay. So next, variability. What is variability? Variability means variability means basically the data generated from the variety sources are basically unpredictable. We don't know, we are not aware in the next second what kind of data we are going to receive, because based upon certain scenario, if there is a live commentary is going on in cricket match, we don't know what kind of data we are going to get, how many tweets we are going to get in our Twitter handle. We don't know from across the world what kind of data we are going to, there are number of factors will be there. We might get the this is very uncertain. You will speak about the stock market. At any point, there is a up and down movement is going on in the stock market because different company, different organization, they have uh, invest their huge amount of money in the stock market. So everything is unpredictable. Means the data that deals with the big data, basically they are generating from different sources, are not only having complex by nature, they are not generating rapidly, they are not only generated in a at a larger scale so fast. They are unpredictable as well. We cannot predict what kind of data we are going to receive. Okay, that is the scenario. Also, the data is not constant. Sometimes, because in share market it is a very good example. The share market is price is going to up and down at any moment. Nobody is going to predict 100%, right? But there are some certain assumption they are going to take, and on that basis they are going to invest the amount in the share market. They are going to do the buy and sell in share market. So the data, the nature of the big data also is unpredictable and they are not constant. So next is veracity. What is veracity? Veracity, whatever the data we are getting, whatever the organization data is going to collected by an organization from different sources, that is having means those data, how far the data are quality data. They are taken certain measurement to understand the quality of they are taken certain measurement so that they can going to clean the data they are having, so that they can process it properly. Because without quality data, if the data quality is not good, it is very difficult to use for the analytics. Even it is very difficult to train one model using that data set by the data scientist. So all these factors are affecting a lot in our big data system: volume, variety, velocity, variability, veracity. So out of all this, then what we understand? There are two major factors. One is storing big data and another one is processing. These are the two different challenges. Okay. Big data. Okay. One is storing such huge amount of data, another one is processing such huge amount of data. But the big data, as you understand, they are not only complex in nature, they are generating very fastly and with a huge amount of data, and which are having different velocity and variability. So to process and store such a huge amount of data, it is very, very difficult. Okay, these are the two different challenges majorly. So we can say that big data is nothing but a problem. Big data contain two industry problem. Two industry problem. One is storage and another one is processing. Okay. If someone will ask you what is big data, then what you will say? Big data in a single statement you are going to say that big data is the amount of data that is generated from a wide range of sources which are not only huge in amount but also complex in nature, which results in or which are very difficult to store and process using the traditional database system. Okay, this is a single sentence you can able to understand, right? What is big data right now? Okay, so big data concern or contain two industry problem: storage and another one is processing. So what is the solution for this one. Before we are going to what is the solution for this particular storage and processing, then we definitely understand what is the trend of big data. First of all, big data statistics and 22. As per latest scenario, okay, we are going to speak each day. Google process 8.5 billion of data. Go about WhatsApp user, they are generating 65 billion message daily basis. You consider 80 to 90%, 80 to 90% of uh, data are generated that is on structure format. And almost 97.2% organizations are going to invest in AI and data analytics. Okay. So the current scenario big data statistic is this one. Google investing, generating almost 8.5 billion data. WhatsApp generating 65 billion some message on a daily basis. So all this data is not only most of the 80 to 90% of data are unstructured kind of data. So so in the upcoming days, what happened? Almost 97.2% of organizations are going for the artificial intelligence, data analytics, data scientist area with the implementation of big data. Without big data, it's very difficult to perform artificial intelligence and data analysis. Okay. So almost all the project that is run on top of the any artificial intelligence, data science, any project you are consider, the backend is the core concept they are going to implement the big data concept only. Okay, they never ever work with the simple data. So these are the challenges. That means big data is a very voluminous and constantly growing data set that are generated, okay, that is which is difficult to manage and process with the available database management tool. That means the data is generated and transmitted so rapidly from a different sources like social media, e-commerce platform, internet of things, healthcare system, financial institutions, stock market are not only huge in amount, but also they are very complex in nature. And this is because it's very difficult or it is a challenge to capture, curate, store, or share, transfer, or visualize this data. The in-hand technology. So also we have seen what are the different characteristics in big data. Volume, variety, velocity, variability, veracity. These are the characteristics. Okay. So main challenges out of these, one is storing and the one is processing. Okay. So these are the two challenges. Then what is the need of big data? Why industry are so much desperate for implementation of the big data technology? Almost more than 78% of the world's organization moving towards big data only. More than 78%. Have either one or two projects are they are running the big data project only. Then you can imagine how will be the requirement process, how what is the demand in the market right now. And this is the latest data set. There are lots of data will be there. Also, 95% of business they are going to manage the unstructured data, and that is become a problem for all the business houses. Because then why people are why the organizations are basically looks forward to the big data implementation? Because first of all, the to basically to understand the need of big data. What is the need of big data for the every organization right now? Okay. First of all, to understand in the big data trend. Okay. Then next, to implement AI in data analytics, to organizational growth. And also for the perfect decision making system, to develop proper decision making system, to understand the to understand the or sorry understand the customer needs, to predict future trends. Okay, these are all the reasons for which every organization or business house looking forward for the implementation of big data technology. Okay, because they are going to collect the data from Twitter, they are going to collect data from Facebook, they are going to collect data from the different WhatsApp, and from different sources they are going to collect the data so that they can understand the customer requirement, the customer behavior, the customer choice, and on that basis they are going to develop their business and uh, optimize their business system. These are all the regions. So if at all we are going, so what is the difference between big data? So what is the solution for that? So whenever we are going to tell big data concern with the two industry problem, storage and processing, then Hadoop is a solution. Storage, Hadoop is implementing HDFS, another is for processing map radius. And these are the two important core component in Hadoop. Storage, HDFS, for processing map radius. Okay. Big data majorly concerned with two industry problem, or it is going to address it gives a challenge to the industry with two problem. One is storage, another one is processing, and these two problem is addressed by the technology called Hadoop by using the storage format HDFS and another is map radius. Okay, so we can say what is the difference between big data and Hadoop? One is big data is a concept. That Hadoop is a solution. Big data is a problem. Whereas Hadoop is a solution framework. Okay. Big data has no importance unless data uh, unless it is processed, taken care fully. Whereas Hadoop is useful to process, handle big data problems. Okay, this is the basic difference. So big data is a concept, whereas Hadoop is a solution. Big data is a problem, Hadoop is a solution framework. Big data has no importance until unless the data is going to handle and processed properly. But Hadoop is Hadoop is important because it is going to handle the big data problem. Okay, it is going to address the big data problem. So these are the important things. So next we are going to move ahead with the Hadoop model. Okay. So any question on this? Anyone of you have any questions, then let me know at this point of time.
No.
Okay. So are you clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then Hadoop. Suppose what is Hadoop? We are going to understand. Basically, Hadoop is a solution framework. It basically address the big data problem, as I have told you. And Hadoop is an open source. Basically, we are going to learn the Apache Hadoop. There are different distributions are there in Hadoop. Then we are going to learn in the later session. But at this point of time, we'll say Apache Hadoop is the solution for such kind of problem, storage and processing. So Hadoop is a open source project started where or developed where dot cutting. Okay. So we will go a bit about the history of the Hadoop. Dove cutting, this particular fellow, dove cutting, has developed Hadoop. Developed Hadoop in the year 2009. Okay. Before what happened? Dove cutting was uh, previously, before developing the Hadoop project or Hadoop framework, he was working with a project called, he is basically involved to develop a notch, which basically uses the NUT is notched distributed file system, NDFS. Okay. So what happened? Later in 2005, notch has been implemented with the MapReduce. Okay. And later what happened? Duck cutting joined the Yahoo organization. Okay. Where he was totally involved with the new project with Yahoo organization to develop the Hadoop framework. That Hadoop framework they have worked on the Hadoop framework on top of this particular notch uh, notch project. Okay. So in 2008, what happened? Yahoo released the first Hadoop. Hadoop. Okay. Then it's going it then what happened? And this particular Hadoop is handed over to the Apache software foundation. Yes, sir.